This is Land of Havilah, Jeremiah 29. In this chapter, 3 letters went back and forth between Jeremiah and the captives in Babylon. The first sentence is a mouthful, verse 1. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem to the residue of the elders of the captivity, and to the priests, to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon, after Jeconiah the king, the queen mother, the eunuchs, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, the craftsmen, and the smiths had departed from Jerusalem, by the hand of Elasah the son of Shaphan, and Gemariah the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah king of Judah sent to Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon. It said, comment in verses 1 and 2, Jeremiah wrote a letter to the 10,000 Judean exiles who were living in Babylon. It's the group that Nebuchadnezzar carried away, including King Jeconiah, his mother, the eunuchs, the princes, the craftsmen, and the smiths. When Jeremiah says princes, he means men of stature and importance. This is the group Yahweh called the good figs in Jeremiah 24:5. Yahweh says, in 70 years their offspring will come back to the land and reestablish Judah, Jeremiah 24:6. Jeremiah addressed the letter to all of them in verse 1, including the elders, priests, prophets, and all the people. In verse 3, how did Jeremiah deliver it? He sent it by 2 Judean royal officials who were going to Babylon on business. Yahweh says, make this letter to the captives say this, verse 4. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says to all the captives whom I have caused to be carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon, build houses and dwell in them, plant gardens and eat their fruit, take wives and father sons and daughters, take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and don't be diminished. Seek the peace of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to Yahweh for it, for in its peace you will have peace. Comment in verses 4 to 7, Jeremiah says to the captives, thus says the Lord, you are where you are because I sent you there. Settle yourselves there for the long haul. Build houses, plant gardens, marry and multiply. Do not be diminished. Seek the peace of whatever Babylonian city you live in, for that city's peace will be your peace. Verse 8. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, don't let your prophets who are among you and your diviners deceive you. Don't listen to your dreams which you cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely to you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahweh. Comment in verses 8 and 9, thus says Yahweh, don't listen to the prophets and diviners who have risen up among you in captivity. They prophesy falsely. I have not sent them. And don't pay attention to the dreams that you cause yourself to dream. We can surmise from this chapter that the false prophets in captivity have been saying the captivity will be short, similar to what Hananiah said when he broke Jeremiah's yoke in the last chapter. But Yahweh says, now hear these important facts you need to know about your captivity. Verse 10. For Yahweh says, after 70 years are accomplished for Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future. You shall call on me, and you shall go and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You shall seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. I will be found by you, says Yahweh, and I will turn again your captivity, and I'll gather you from all the nations, from all those places where I have driven you, says Yahweh. I'll bring you again to the place from where I caused you to be carried away captive. Comment in verse 14, the Babylonian kingdom encompasses many nations. Nebuchadnezzar didn't send them all to the same place. He scattered them among the nations of his kingdom. So the recipients of this letter will need to copy it many times and circulate it to all those places where the Jews are living. In verse 10, it's important to know the captivity will last 70 years. Then I, Yahweh, will visit you and perform my good word to you. I'll cause you to return to this place. In verse 11, I know I've made it hard on you lately, but don't take that to mean I hate you. I know the thoughts I think towards you, says Yahweh. They're thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a hope and future. In verse 12, you shall call on me, and I will listen. It's a commandment and a prophecy at the same time. They will call on him and he will listen. That's very good news. In verse 13, a line for the ages, quote, "You shall seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart," end quote. Yahweh will give them a spirit of grace and supplication that they'll seek him with all their heart, Zechariah 12:10, and he promises to let himself be found. In verse 14, I'll gather you from all the places where I have driven you and bring you again to the place you started. Now concerning some bad information that's going around, verse 15. Because you have said, Yahweh has raised us up prophets in Babylon, Yahweh says concerning the king who sits on David's throne and concerning all the people who dwell in this city, your brothers who haven't gone with you into captivity, Yahweh of armies says, Behold, I will send on them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like rotten figs that can't be eaten. They are so bad. I'll pursue after them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth, to be an object of horror, an astonishment, a hissing, and a reproach among all the nations where I have driven them, because they have not listened to my words, says Yahweh, with which I sent to them my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you would not hear, says Yahweh. Comment in verse 15, the exiles are under the impression that Yahweh has raised up prophets among them in captivity. But here's the real scoop, says Yahweh. In verses 16 to 19, concerning everyone that's left back home in Jerusalem, on them Yahweh will send sword, famine, and pestilence. He'll make them like rotten figs that are so bad they cannot be eaten. There will be good for nothing. Whichever of them survive, Yahweh will deliver to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth. Their existence will be horrendous because they haven't listened to Yahweh. Some morals of the story so far are that the 10,000 who are being held captive in Babylon should fear Yahweh. They should seek him with all their heart, and they will find him. They should be thankful they are where they are right now and shouldn't wish to be in Jerusalem. Going on with Yahweh's word to them, verse 20. Hear therefore Yahweh's word, all you captives whom I have sent away from Jerusalem to Babylon. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says concerning Ahab the son of Kolaiah, and concerning Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah, who prophesy a lie to you in my name, Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and he will kill them before your eyes. A curse will be taken up about them by all the captives of Judah who are in Babylon, saying, Yahweh make you like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire. Because they've done foolish things in Israel and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives and have spoken words in my name falsely, which I didn't command them. I am he who knows, and I am witness, says Yahweh. Comment in verses 20 to 23, You captives that I've sent away to Babylon, hear my word. Ahab the son of Kolaiah, who prophesies in my name among you, is a false prophet. So is Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah. Nebuchadnezzar will execute them. You'll see it with your own eyes. In verse 22, in the future, mark my words, there will be a familiar expression among you that says, May you be like Zedekiah and Maaseiah, whom the king of Babylon roasted in fire. The prophecy of Zedekiah and Maaseiah roasting in fire is so specific that when it comes to pass, it'll establish Jeremiah as a true prophet. Their roasting will verify everything Jeremiah says. The major point so far being that the Jews should settle in for 70 years of captivity, be productive, be good citizens of their locality, and forget about being delivered from Babylon anytime soon. In verse 23, not only are Ahab and Zedekiah false prophets, let it be known from Yahweh through Jeremiah, who lives 900 miles away in Judah, that they're sleeping with their neighbors' wives. Coming up, Jeremiah sent the letter and got a response from one of the false prophets in captivity. He's not Ahab or Zedekiah, he's a third one named Shemaiah. Yahweh says to Jeremiah, verse 24, Concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite you shall speak, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Because you've sent letters in your own name to all the people who are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, and to all the priests, saying, Yahweh has made you priest in the place of Jehoiada the priest, that there may be officers in Yahweh's house for every man who is crazy and makes himself a prophet, that you should put him in the stocks and in shackles. Now therefore, why have you not rebuked Jeremiah of Anathoth, who makes himself a prophet to you? Because he has sent to us in Babylon, saying, The captivity is long, build houses and dwell in them, plant gardens and eat their fruit. Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the hearing of Jeremiah the prophet. Comment in verses 24 to 29, Shemaiah is a false prophet who lives among the captives. He read Jeremiah's letter in Babylon and sent a letter of his own back to the priests in Jerusalem, an open letter to be shared with all the people. One of the priests read it to Jeremiah. In the letter, Shemaiah claims that Yahweh has named Zephaniah as the new high priest. He should rise up and replace the current high priest Jehoiada. With a high priest with some sense in the office, he'll put every crazy man who makes himself a prophet in shackles, Jeremiah in particular. Why has the current high priest not done it already? Didn't Jeremiah write to us in the captivity and say, The captivity is long, build houses, plant gardens, and eat the fruit? What kind of hogwash is that? Coming up, Yahweh says Jeremiah should respond with this, verse 30. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Send to all the captives, saying, Yahweh says concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, Because Shemaiah has prophesied to you, and I didn't send him, and he has caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore Yahweh says, Behold, I'll punish Shemaiah the Nehelamite and his offspring. He'll not have a man to dwell among this people. He won't see the good that I'll do to my people, says Yahweh, because he has spoken rebellion against Yahweh. Comment in verses 30 to 32, Yahweh says to Jeremiah, Send a letter to all the captives. Write in it, Yahweh says to all the captives, Because Shemaiah uses my name to prophesy and causes you to trust in the lie that your captivity will be short, Shemaiah won't see any of the good I'll do to the captives. He has spoken rebellion against me, says Yahweh. Jeremiah 30 is next.